we're going to switch over and we're going to be talking about what is it now? An oratorio? What is an oratorio? Come on, tell me what an oratorio is.
An oratorio is a choral work. That means
Okay.
it's for a chorus, and you have your sopranos, altos, tenors, and basses, and it can have any kind of subject matter a composer can come up with. My oratorio is the Amsterdam Oratorio. It's a choral work of 90 minutes, comprised of 16 songs, each one about a different facet of my hometown of Amsterdam, New York.
Well, I did read the lyrics,
Okay.
and I found that it was, and I listened to the music, of course, the music is lovely, but you get it from the immigrants, then right on to things like What Happened to the Mall and stuff like that. I mean, you got it all in there.
Well, I'll tell you, the oratorio, I wrote this in 2000. So this is not a new work.
2000?
Yes, but there's
That's like a while back.
that's a long time ago. Let's not count the years just
No,
now.
that's okay. I'm just checking.
But so I was sort of at a crossroads in my life, and I was newly divorced and living on my own, and my youngest son had just gone off to college, and I had a sense, a feeling that I'd like to give something back to my community and also sort of reclaim myself a bit. And I had a moment, doesn't often happen in my life as a composer, that I got a sudden inspiration for writing this work.
This is not the first one you've written.
Oh, no.
I mean, just so everybody knows, this isn't her first.
No, I've been at it a long time.
Yeah.
But this is one that occupies a special place in my heart because the moment that I got the idea and from the time I began to write it to its fruition, everything fell so beautifully into place. So I got the idea that I would like to form a chorus and sing about Amsterdam, and I knew I was calling it in my mind immediately, the Amsterdam Oratorio.
Okay.
And Congressman Tonko loves to say, as far as we know, there are only 2 cities in the world that have had oratorios composed about them. One is the Liverpool Oratorio by Sir Paul McCartney, and the other one
You're right
is
up
the
there.
Amsterdam Oratorio by Maria Riccio Bryce.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So anyway, what I did was I wrote a song about different facets, and many of my friends suggested. A friend of mine visiting from London, who I'd taken to look around Amsterdam and show him the emptiness of our downtown, said, "Oh, darling, you must write about that." So hence the Amsterdam Mall. My sister Connie suggested, "You should write a song about nurses here in our community, because as small as Amsterdam is, they perform such a service.
Absolutely.
On duty, you never know what you're going to see, and the kindness." My friend John Allen, a known baritone here who sang in the oratorio, said,
Their
"How about-"
voices are amazing.
No, they are.
And you had children in there too.
Well,
which
the
was-
chorus, I formed a chorus, and they were comprised completely of Amsterdamians, 67. 14 of which were children. So I began writing in the autumn of 2000. And then I wrote through the spring and the winter and spring of 2001. I formed the chorus of Amsterdamians, and we rehearsed the summer. And we were poised to premiere this in October 5th, 2001. Everything was going swimmingly, and on the morning of September 11th, 2001, I had my committee at the house. We met to make sure we were all
Must
on
have been
track.
8 in the morning, because that's about the time it hit.
Well, and all of a sudden, as everyone watching this has experienced, the word began to come to us.
Yeah.
What was going on.
You turned on the TV
No,
because
it
you got to
was
follow.
right.
Yeah.
And I remember all of us, of course, as you all, shock and awe. But inside, I was thinking, the oratorio has to be canceled, because what I'd written was, in my mind at that moment, belonged to a completely different time and place. I felt immediately how our whole country's face was going to change. And my songs were about endurance and faith, community, belief. And I told my friends, my committee, I think we're going to have to hold off. I had the oratorio was scored for piano and synthesizer. And I was playing the piano, and the synthesizer player, your cameraman knows well, Malcolm does, was Mark Broccoli. He had played with me for all of my shows, Mother I'm Here, Hearts of Fire. He was playing the synthesizer, and he's a man of great faith. And I told him, I think I'm going to cancel because, you know, when I was writing the oratorio, I had no idea that this was going to happen. And he said, but God did. And his words inspired me to say, I believe that's true somehow, that in the tiniest redemptive way, that this work that I've been laboring with for the last year and I'm about to give birth to needs to go on. And
Right.
so 3 weeks later, there we all were on the stage of what's now called the Michael Lynch Auditorium, which was the old high school in Amsterdam, is now the middle school. But that theater, that auditorium, is a theater.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tiny old vaudeville house, and that's where I had been a student myself in high school when I first decided I was going to be a great actress. So it was all about coming home to this, and there was my chorus singing, and the auditorium was full, 800 people. And one of the proudest moments of my life is, as we all took our bows, the then Mayor John Duchesne, strode across the stage and handed me the key to the city of Amsterdam.
Wow. Wow. Well, what a tribute it is to the city of Amsterdam.
Well, it was, and I felt that it helped us all. But now that's years ago, and now I'm looking back at my legacy, and I'm realizing nobody can hear this anymore. We recorded it. My late brother-in-law, Ralph Sherry, was the preeminent sound engineer in the Capital District then. He was the owner of Cathedral Sound, and he generously donated his time and expertise to record the whole thing. So there were 67 singers, men, women, and children in this
He
studio.
recorded it, yeah.
Yes, and then Kirk Douglas, Amsterdam
I
native,
saw that, yeah.
he paid for the manufacturing of the oratorio,
Yeah.
which at that time would have been beyond my means.
Mm-hmm.
So we had that. We had CDs in 2001, and now CDs and CD players, which
I
we were.
use a CD all the time. I don't know
Oh,
about
I thank
anybody
you.
else.
I do too, but I guess we're two of a dying breed.
Well,
You
if
can't hear it anymore.
If you go to the library, books on tapes are on CDs.
Right,
And I
but-
listen to them, so yeah.
Well, I decided
They
to.
don't put them in cars, though. That's the
No, they
problem.
don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And I just got a new car, so I'm done with that.
Yeah,
Nothing. So,
yeah.
so I made
you're
the
actually
decision. I did. So
digitalizing
that's
it.
really what I'm here to talk about. So I did make the big step, and it's now just on May 2nd. It was released, so it's streaming everywhere. If anyone would like to hear it, I'd love you to. I want to stress that the songs, although specific to Amsterdam, have a running thread of a small town.
Absolutely.
Right, and so I think that I think your listeners would enjoy giving it a
And
spin.
listening to it, it's like our town kind of thing. You know,
Right,
you hear
right,
that. But the thing is that you do mention what happened in the malls and where we go. You know,
Right,
that kind
and
of
the
thing.
factories.
The factories, yeah. The rug factories.
Oh, and its heyday,
Mohawk
Amsterdam.
rugs. My
was,
parents would
yes,
go there and
surely.
Yeah, yeah. So things have changed a lot because it was a industrial town
It was.
and was right on the river, kind
It
of.
was.
Yeah, and the train goes right by there.
Right.
So it's really centrally located for doing manufacturing.
And all of those things are still true. There are no mills there, but there's a wealth of commitment and talent and a certain strength that, frankly, I'm proud to be a native daughter,
Okay.
belonging to that sort of strength. And I also want to say this too. I'm so thrilled. When I wrote it, I was right at the thrust of the middle of my life. And I wrote it as a gift to my fellow Amsterdamians. Now time has marched on. And I'm surprised to discover I have 3 sons. I never thought any one of them would return. I raised them in Amsterdam, but one of them has. And present, I now have a beautiful 3.5-year-old granddaughter.
How wonderful.
So when I think of the songs that I wrote and about the handing along, I'm beside myself with joy to feel that one day she will be hearing these as a resident.
Right.
So it makes me feel a legacy is lurking in here, and I can bow my head gratefully and say, I did my best.
Yeah, and I remember as a young girl, my dad, when he closed up the pharmacy for a couple hours on Sunday, we'd drive over to Amsterdam and there'd be the pharmacy there. We'd always go into the pharmacy and talk to the pharmacist there. So
Right.
that was just kind of, my memories of Amsterdam. And of course, my folks talked about the rug mills,
Yes.
making the rugs. Do they still have Mohawk rugs? No.
Oh no, they left long ago.
I didn't know whether somebody else bought them out and called it that.
No.
There were a couple of rug companies, were there?
Mohawk Carpet Mills was the great big one, and I
Right.
think that was at one point, that was a 24-hour operation.
Really?
First shift, second shift, third shift, 8 hours, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was like GE was running 3 shifts too.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to first of all thank you, but don't go anywhere because I want to tell everybody who's coming up on the next show, and then we'll pick up on
Sure.
this again. Next show we have Kids Art Festival. We're going to be talking. I guess Kids Art Fest, but it's really a fabulous event downtown, and it's free. Jazz on Jay again is a free event, and then we're talking about the Memorial Veterans Observance, and that's a free event. And then the National Veterans Creative Art. I mean, think about that. In Denver, Colorado, they're celebrating veterans that are creative. And then, of course, we have Schenectady Pride here to talk about their event too. The Kids Art Fest and the Schenectady Pride Festival is going to be on June 1st. I know that. So lots going on.
There always is, and you always speak about it so beautifully.
Oh, thank you, thank you. No, I love what we do, and I do want to wish, and especially since you're a mother, a happy Mother's Day that's
Thank
coming
you.
up, and I hope that you're doing something special for Mother's Day and to create some surprises for her, maybe. Who knows?
Let's hope so.
So your son is living in Amsterdam now, you said.
My middle son, Andrew,
middle
and his
son.
partner, Vanessa Stark, and my little granddaughter, Eloise.
Okay, good. And how's about your other 2 sons?
My elder son is an engineer, and he lives in Seattle.
Okay.
And my youngest son, Peter, is an attorney in New York.
Okay. Well,
But
New
they all
York isn't
sing.
that far.
They all sing, and they're all. Especially my son Duncan is a fabulous pianist, but he chose.
Well, he got that from
Yes, I
Mom.
think he did, but I think he chose the more prudent way in terms of making a living. So, anyway.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
you know, you never know, how much you're going to make from something. But
You don't.
So the streaming, do they pay for it when they stream it down?
Oh no, I don't really have language to express exactly what this is, but it means you can hear it on Spotify and
Okay.
YouTube and Pandora
Okay.
and iTunes and so forth. No,
so
you
they
don't
just
pay.
have to subscribe to the.
They have to download an app, or they can see it on their computer or on their device or phone,
Okay,
whatever.
good. Yeah, but thank you. She gave me the CD, and that was fun. And I love the script too, so that was really cool because I was
Great.
reading it while I was doing that as well.